Hello, here's a small tutorial showing how to set up and use Calendly. Calendly is just a booking app that you can use that can integrate into Outlook or whatever calendar system you're using, or it can also be used to set up Zoom meetings automatically. So I'm going to show you really quickly how to set that type of stuff up. First, if you come up to calendly.com, you should see this page. If you have created an account, it may automatically log you on, but otherwise, up here in the top right is sign up. From here, you can go ahead and just get started with your email address, and it should take you through that. I already have an account, so I am going to let you guys go ahead and do that on your own. Most of the questions are pretty straightforward. And the end goal is going to be to create something that students can see that looks like this. So in my case, I've created a 20-minute session for students and a 10-minute session for students. Those are just meetings that they can book out ahead of time so that we can have a video conference and talk about whichever issue they're having, if it's like Revit or Rhino, or if it's some really large issue. But you could set this up for desk crits or any other type of meeting, really. So if I close out of this, after you've logged on, you will likely see a screen that looks like this. Your individual events here are going to be different. The way Calendly works is that you can set up a different type of event, and then each of those events have different availabilities. And then you can turn whether or not you want people to be able to sign up for those events or not. So this purple and this blue one, you can tell that because they're colored and things here are not grayed out, like this one that says desk crit, that these are active events. So those are the two that students were able to see on my Calendly page to sign up for things. While this one here called desk crit is not turned on currently. If you have things here, you can get rid of or delete them. One of these little cogs right here has some of these settings. So we just did the HSA Studio move out. I will not need this again, at least not for another month. I'm going to go ahead and hit delete. It will ask me yes or no. And then now I only have the 3. If you need to create a brand new type, I'll take you through that because that's going to get you the most settings, but most of everything else can be found by coming to the same little wheel here and then saying edit. So new event type is how to create a new one. You have 2 options. One-on-one would be like an individual meeting with somebody, while a group event would be if multiple people were going to be participating at the same time. You can set a limit to the amount of people that you want to use. So for the move outs, I did 10 people since we were doing 10-person occupancy in the building at the time. But for most people, one-on-one is probably the better way to do this. My assumption is that your other group meetings will potentially go out via email, and if you need a group meeting, there will be a scheduled time for that. So we're going to do one-on-one, create. We can name this whatever we want. So we'll say test meeting here. If you have the functionality, and you may have to ask for our administrator to approve this, but you can add a location here. So if it's in person, you have to say that you're going to be meeting at some place. Currently, this is probably not how you will do this. If you wanted to set up something with a phone call, you could also do that. For most of us, we're using Zoom. So if you are using Zoom to have meetings with students, you can click this. And this may ask you certain things the first time you do this about connecting to a Zoom account. Just follow those prompts if you want to get it set up. And if you're working with our school-based Zoom system, you will have to get an IT administrator approval, which should just automatically email them, and then they will approve it. I currently have this one set up to do that. I am not on our main system, so I didn't have to ask for that approval, but this will allow you to automatically schedule a Zoom meeting that'll pop up in your calendar and send an email to your student automatically. we can go to add a location option if you want something else. So if a student wants to talk to me through Microsoft Teams, I can go to custom. I can just type in what I want. And then here's a description. So this is a test meeting for about 15 minutes twice a week. And then if you're somebody who likes to organize things by color, you can select a color here. I'm gonna just choose yellow because why not? So I just hit next to come to this next screen, and you'll notice that you have like this box and this box. These are the main two boxes you're gonna use to set up your meeting. We were looking for a 15-minute meeting, so we can just click on 15 minutes here. If you have a different time, you can just type it in. So if we were doing 20, we would just do that. But we're gonna do 15. Date range gives you the ability to say when students can set stuff up. So if I hit edit, period of rolling days, it's just however many days from the current time they can sign up for something. So it defaults to 60 rolling days. That's a very long time. I would recommend doing just like a week out. Or alternatively, you can say over a date range. And from here, you can click on one and then click on another. This will have to be updated every week whenever you are doing this for the events. It's a very static thing. Normally, I do rolling days. Indefinitely means whenever. So we're gonna do this for the next 7 days. This is just asking for the time zone. They're gonna see stuff in their local time zone. That basically just means that, you know, if they're an hour ahead of us, then they're going to see everything just 1 hour shifted, but your guys' time zones will still match up based on the shared calendar invite. All right, and so this is showing what the availability I have set for meetings are. This is just going to be whenever you want to have these meetings. So if you wanted to select a particular day, for me, let's say I want to do Tuesdays, it's asking me which interval I want to set. I'm going to say from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And if I wanted to set up a second one, so like if I had a long set of meetings, I could add a break and then say, you know, between 9 and 10, I take my break at 10 o'clock and then I come back, you know, at 10:30. And then that could go all the way to noon. Okay. You could also just put in unavailabilities here, but normally that will just clear out everything. So I'm going to just make this 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. For this test, it doesn't matter. So we can apply this to just today, or we can apply this to all Tuesdays, or if you have multiple days of the week you want to do this to, you can say apply to multiple. You'll get this menu. So if I wanted to apply to this on every Tuesday and Thursday, we can select here repeating days of the week and say Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you select specific dates, it will only be on the dates that you enter in. We're going to do this to hit apply. Okay. So these are showing up here and here. You'll notice that we still have availability on this event set on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This is what the unavailability would be. So this 9 to 5, if I say I'm unavailable and apply to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, it will do that. This schedule here is basically showing you exactly, you know, when they can sign up for it. These are the 7 days, and then when they're actually able to sign up. In this case, Tuesday and Thursday, 11 to 10 or 10 to 11 a.m. And if we hit next, up here at the top right, it's telling us that our event type is on. So this automatically went ahead and created this. If you need to change any of those, you can always come back into here and grab this again. You can also ask them specific questions like what is their name or their email, you know, which location do they want, and then, you know, can they give any information about the meeting. You can add more questions, of course. They have multiple different types. It's like setting up a Google form. And you can make it a required question or not. So finally, there's other settings here for notification and cancellation. So this will send a calendar invitation. This is normally what I do, just because I can check it in, Google Office 365 or any Exchange calendar. There are some other things like setting email reminders, so you can get something right before it, or a follow-up after your meeting, or text reminders. I don't use any of these. And then on cancellations, I have include, cancel, and reschedule links, so if somebody decides that they don't need my help for something anymore, they can just go to the same calendar event and then cancel from there. Okay. There are other things like confirmation pages and payment pages. Those shouldn't really be that useful for most of the people that'll be signing up for this. But, if you were doing haircuts, this is kind of what you would do. If I go back, I can see that my meeting is here. If you need to send this out to students, you can click copy link right here and it will copy it. And if I pull up a new window here, so this is one that I'm not signed into, I can just test to see what that looks like. So it took a little bit to load, but it's showing me this month, and I click on one of the days that's available, and if I move to next week or next month, it will also show me this, and it also gives me these available times as well. So it's pretty simple. It takes a little bit of debugging to make sure that your availabilities and things aren't being conflicted by other events or other programs. But the advantage to this is these will only show up as available to students when you actually have availability. So if somebody signs up for a 10-minute session with me and it interferes with when somebody else wants to sign up a 20-minute session, this person will not be able to sign up during that time. They'll have to pick another time when I have 20 minutes free, and vice versa. If somebody signed up for 20 minutes, they can't sign up for 10 minutes in the middle of that. If you want to turn any of these off, we can just click into the event and turn off here. And if I go back, you will notice that it is now grayed out as well. And if you have multiple types of things that you want somebody to be able to select from, in my case, this is the link that you want. So if I, open this link in a new tab, you can see that I get these to show up just like that. And then from here, they can sign up for a date or a time with all the available times. I hope that helps, and if you have any questions, feel free to email me, and good luck. Hopefully this helps out your students in setting up times to meet with you.